Welcome to the Sunshine Free School here in sunny Bognor Regis. Today's special lesson is on DNA fingerprinting. DNA, as I'm sure you remember, is what makes you, you. Let's just revise a bit about where DNA comes from. Every organism, as you know, is made up of a number of different tissues, and each tissue is made up of a very large number of cells. In most cells there's a nucleus like this, and inside the nucleus there are chromosomes. If you look more closely at chromosomes, you'll see they've got a number of stripes on them, and these stripes are what we call genes, and they are the things that control your inheritance and how you develop. So for example, there's a gene for eye colour. That's this one up here. You'll see it's blue, so blue eyes. There's another gene for hair colour down here, so this person would have red hair. Now, because everybody's genes are different, well, they're different from everybody else's, provided you're not, for example, an identical twin or you haven't been cloned by aliens, we can use this fact to look at your what's called your DNA fingerprint and work out for any bit of living material where it's, by looking at the DNA fingerprint, we can tell where it's come from. Today we're going to look at the DNA fingerprint of a frog. This frog came from our pond in the nature area, our volunteer. So now if you would like to join me over here, this is where we have our DNA testing machine, fingerprint machine, and here it is. We're going to use that to look at the DNA, to produce a DNA fingerprint of the frog. Let's first of all prepare our starting material. And we just need to take a very small amount of that and introduce it into the DNA testing machine. Okay, in there goes, and you'll see the process is in 5 steps. First of all, the machine separates out the cells. Then from the cells it extracts the nuclei. Then it will break down to get the genes and the individual segments of DNA, and afterwards it will print it all. So let's get that started. There, that was quick, and now we just need to press the printer. And here's our DNA fingerprint. You'll see, first of all, not very surprisingly, that all the genes for our frog, this is our frog here, its genes are either green or white. And the other bands are for other frogs from the neighbourhood, so we could compare the DNA fingerprints across and try to work out which of the other frogs was the mother and which was the father of our frog. Okay, now in their BTEC science project work, Haley and Samantha had a rather good idea. They decided they would fix onto the DNA fingerprint machine this extra lever here, which switches from forward to reverse. And what that means we can do, if I do that now, is we can input a DNA fingerprint by turning the printer into a scanner, and then we'll use the machine to produce the original cells. Okay, well, they wanted to find something useful they could do with it. They thought, what about cloning a panda? So we contacted the Chinese consulate here in Bognor Regis, and they provided us with a DNA fingerprint of a panda. You'll notice, of course, the genes are all black and white, and then if we just put that into the scanner like so and start it, we can put the DNA fingerprint into the DNA fingerprint machine, and then when we press start, we get the machine is now converting from the fingerprint back, making the genes and then putting them into nuclei and then constructing cells with that. Okay, and if we just look at the back here, we end up with a container with panda cells. Now, we didn't want to have this excellent material go to waste, but we thought, how can we generate whole pandas from these individual cells? We needed some surrogate mothers, in effect. We contacted Butlins, but all the pandas in the zoo at Butlins are all the female ones are currently pregnant, so that was no good. So we had to think again. So we contacted our friends at the neighbouring Oakwood School, and we got a lot of volunteers there. We had some help from some of the parents as well, and look what happened after just 9 months in the maternity ward. Aren't they cute? And that was about 6 months ago, and now our pandas are doing really well, and we're hoping soon to be able to wean them from their current diet of milk onto the more local diet of fish and chips.